Hello, everyone. This is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Ashfall, a Korean disaster movie from 2019 that stars Ha Jung-woo, Lee Byung-hun, Dong-seok and Bae Suzy. Paektu Mountain, an active volcano straddling the China-North Korea border, suddenly erupts, causing severe earthquakes in both North and South Korea. Pandemonium ensues on the Korean peninsula, with more eruptions predicted in the area. To further prevent another disaster, the government plans an operation based on a theory by Professor Kang, who had studied Mount Baekdu and its possible future eruptions. Another man is assigned to be the captain of a special forces team taking part in the operation. Their first goal is to free a spy who is imprisoned in North Korea and may be able to help them retrieve nuclear material necessary to stop the seismic event. Meanwhile, the pregnant wife of one of the men is alone in Seoul and struggling to survive the disaster. I saw this movie a few years ago already, actually, when it first came out on streaming. I did not review it back then because there were more pressing movie reviews that were higher on my priority list, collaborations, all that type of stuff. So it kind of fell on the back burner, but I'm ready to review it now. My notes say that I enjoyed it, but I remember almost nothing about it. So, not a great sign, but I'm not exactly a fan of disaster movies in general, so that's probably why. In any case, I gave it another viewing the other day, and my assessment is that it's pretty good. The opening city disaster scene is unrealistic, kind of amusing to watch. You get Ha Jung-woo somehow miraculously driving his car through city streets while the buildings are crumbling and crashing around him. CGI is not the best, to say the least, but I guess it's sufficient for like a brainless disaster movie. The same is true for the bridge scene and the final drive towards the volcano. As a disaster movie, Ashfall is decent. All right, it lacks an ominous mood though, of something that you would get from a Virus, the Kinji Fukasaku film, and it lacks the spectacle you would get from like a kaiju film, right? So it feels kind of generic here. However, there are a few things that take it up a little bit, up a notch. First of all, in terms of action, there are just as many shootouts and human conflicts as disaster stuff, which is certainly welcome and helps to mix things up. And that whole subplot of extracting the spy from North Korea is probably better than the disaster elements. We get a few shootouts, gunplay shootouts and stuff between the South Korean Special Forces unit and agents and or military from other countries. Again, none of this is especially great or expertly crafted, but it is watchable. Um, shove some popcorn in your face, easy to sit through. The cast is legit, obviously. Lee Byung-hun, badass as usual, and he's kind of an X Factor character who is kind of greedy, looks out for himself as well as some of his surviving family members. He does throw a few monkey wrenches into our protagonist's plans, which is a nice wrinkle. His interactions with Ha Jung-woo definitely help to keep things reasonably engaging, despite all of the cliche elements that surround them. And the story, mostly forgettable stuff here. If there were two lesser actors who were cast as the leads in this, it would have been a bigger problem because they're forced to kind of elevate the material, and they do. Ma Dong-seok actually has less screen time than I was hoping for in this. He kind of disappears for sections of the movie, which feel like they should have given him a little bit more to do in this. Then this was co-directed by Lee Hae-jun and Kim Byung-so. The former previously directed Castaway on the Moon, and the latter previously co-directed Cold Eyes. So two films that are miles better than Ashfall. So I can only hope that these two directors are given like some better material to work with in the future because they're certainly capable of doing some really good stuff. But still, despite all my criticisms, I do think Ashfall is one of those movies that you could sit through once, enjoy it, but then you're probably going to forget most of it in a fairly short period of time. So if you're just in a mood for like a Korean disaster movie, put it on. But there's plenty of other great Korean movies that you should prioritize above this one. So it's kind of a very cautious, kind of a marginal, moderate recommendation, I guess you could say. Currently available on a variety of streaming sites, so it's out there for you. And as always, folks, I'll see you next time.